All right, Coach. Going up to Canada, getting the win, snapping that losing streak, and keeping the playoff hopes alive. Talk about what you guys accomplished up there in Canada.
It was a big win for us. That is not an easy trip, and again, for us it means a short week. We practiced Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Then the players went to class, and on the bus at 2:15 up to Portland. Got there just before midnight, and then up to crossing the border and dealing with that, which can always be a little bit of a headache. You're just not sure how that's going to go. To play on a grass field, a 1 o'clock kickoff, our routine changed, and Simon Fraser is a solid football team. They've struggled, but record-wise, but they've shown an ability to play with and play right with the top teams in this conference. Azusa Pacific, it was a 6-point game in the fourth quarter. Western Oregon, Simon led into the fourth quarter. So we feel very, very good about the win because we knew it wouldn't be easy, and it wasn't. Yet we did what we had to do. We had 5 turnovers, or 5 takeaways rather, on the defensive side, and gave our offense good field position. 2 turnovers, 2 takeaways on the first 2 possessions for Simon Fraser to kind of establish ourselves and be able to play with the lead. And I think that was real important. We were in control throughout because we were able to play with the lead, even though we were really unable until really the end to really separate. Clearly from them, but a good hard-fought win for us.
Talk a little bit more about the defense. Number 1 in the GNAC conference, another great game. Jerry Malavia, best game by far for him. I'm sure he's getting healthier and healthier each week, and that defense, a lot of takeaways.
Just so pleased with how our defense has played. With the exception of the second Azusa game, but even that, they took that to heart, and it's great to have Jerry Malavia back. I think when we have number 1 roaming the back end of our defense, it not only helps the other 10 guys that we have on the field, but I think every opponent is aware of the fact that number 1's back there, and you better be careful with that. And a great game by Jerry, 2 interceptions. He's at full strength, really for the first time since maybe the early part of the season against Dixie State. And again, he's our team leader, our defensive leader, one of our defensive leaders. Because we do have others, Alex Markarian and Silas Sarvinsky and Travis Hansen, Jamal Jones and Marcus Graves. Those are all seniors along with Jerry on our defense. So it's a veteran, mature group that is playing at a very high level right now.
On the offensive side of the ball, Nick Riccadulli having to step up with Jaquan Gardner out again, and he gets named Offensive Player of the Week. You guys sweep at offensive and defensive this week.
Did we?
Yeah.
I had.
Looks like Nick Riccadulli and Jerry Malavia.
Is that right? Yeah. That's the first I've heard of that. So very, very deserving of both. I've talked about Jerry. Nick, a tremendously gutty performance by him. He's not at full strength with a very sore knee. The bursa sac that he had, which I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds painful. And just to watch him, he'd get up and he'd limp, but then you put the ball in his hands and off he'd go again. And again, you're talking about another senior, guys that potentially are seeing the end to a football career that they've played probably since they were 8 or 9. Here we have 2 weeks left in the regular season, and so there's a high level of motivation, high incentive level for all of our players, hopefully, but certainly more so with these seniors that are staring at the end of their playing time, at the college level. And so they realize that there's still so much out there to play for. Every goal we set at the beginning of the season is still out there to be achieved. And again, it's fun to go to battle with that type of group and those types of players that understand what's at stake and understand the value, the importance, the privilege, all of that comes with being able to put on the Humboldt State uniform and represent Humboldt State wherever we play. So again, that's one thing about this team. There's veteran players at key spots that are playing as veterans need to play and are providing that leadership and certainly leading by example on the field. So that's great for Jerry and great for Nick both to earn, and it's well earned, this Player of the Week honors.
So an exciting win for you guys up in Canada. How much better is that trip coming home from there with a win?
Well, I mean, we've experienced both, haven't we? And any trip is better, when you're able to put forth a good effort on the field, win the game on the field, and be able to relax and enjoy what it is that just took place. It's a very long trip regardless, but it's much longer when you sit there and dwell on a missed opportunity or a job that was not done, not taken care of. So fortunately this year we've been able to have smiles on our faces on most of our return trips, but you never want to lose sight of the fact that the feeling that you had, the feeling we had after that Azusa game a few weeks back, the feeling that we had 11 times last year. You never want to lose sight of that. You want to use that as motivation if necessary, but again, I think it's very important. You just can't lose sight of the fact that you know, in any game like this, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose, and you hope your preparation leads to a performance level that allows you to come out on the top end.
Another road trip this weekend, Western Oregon. What makes it so tough going up there and playing at their place?
Well, I'll tell you, Chet, that's it's been you know, obviously the first thing you talk about is the level of competition. Western Oregon is always a very tough opponent, regardless of who they play, and they certainly have been that for us. And they've been a little hit and miss this year with a 500 record, but that doesn't mean you can take them lightly. You can't. They're a good football team with talented players in a number of positions. It's a difficult place to play. Again, a grass field. You're playing in the Northwest in November. They've had a lot of rain up there, so the field is going to be soft, spongy, muddy. You have and that's difficult to adjust to when you're like us, fortunate to play on artificial surfaces and not have to deal with that too often. So we have to make that adjustment and just be ready for it'll be their senior day, I believe, and we just need to go out and again do what we do best, and that's prepare ourselves and play at a high level, take care of the football, try to win it up front, all those things that we've talked about many times. But it's not an easy place to play for whatever reason, and you start with the quality of the opponent that you encounter anytime you go up there.
And also the difficulty of playing a team for the second time. You guys experienced that with Azusa earlier this year. Whooped them the first time, second time is different. How do you make sure it's the same performance the first time against Western?
Well, that's kind of the big question. Because it's difficult. It is very difficult, I have found, to beat a team a second time. When teams are relatively even, and I think that's the case. I think you have two good football teams that will go toe-to-toe come Saturday. So we're going to have to find a way. There will be some tweaks or adjustments to both teams' game plans. But still, you got to go out for 60 minutes. You got to put forth the better of the two performances, and get yourself on the top end, come on the scoreboard. And so, again, you got to take care of the football. You can't make mistakes and beat good football teams. And the first time around, we were able to play a solid football game. Robert Weber had a really good game for us, and we took what was a very close game in the third quarter and were able to put some distance between us, in the late third and through the fourth quarter. But this will be an entirely different game, and what happened the first game won't mean a thing come 1 o'clock Saturday.
What's the status for Jaquan? I know 2 weeks ago he was ailing a little bit from injury, still played, didn't play this last week in Saturday.
And he's spent most of yesterday in the training room. We're still working on that muscle that just doesn't seem to be firing right now, from the bruise that he had, the significant bruise and the shot he took. I think the first time we played Western Oregon, but he's, it's been 4 weeks now, and we're trying everything. He's very frustrated right now because he wants so badly to be out there with his teammates, helping towards our success. And again, we'll keep our fingers crossed that this is a week he comes back and is a Jaquan of old. But again, right now he will not practice today. We'll kind of see where he's at. He's scheduled to practice tomorrow, but again, we've just got to see how he responds to the treatment.